Have you ever stopped to think about how something as simple as your underwear could be quietly harming your health? I have to admit, I used to overlook this too. For years, I wore the same kinds of underwear without a second thought, thinking comfort and style were all that mattered. But over time, little annoyances turned into more serious discomfort, itching, irritation, and even infections that I never expected. I bet many of you have faced the same frustrating surprises. But here's the comforting truth. You don't have to live with these issues, and fixing them doesn't mean giving up on style or spending a fortune. There are simple, practical changes you can make that will help your body breathe easier and feel fresher every day. The best part? These tips aren't complicated. They fit right into your daily routine, making your life more comfortable without any hassle. And there's more. Once you learn these secrets, you'll discover unexpected benefits like better skin health, fewer infections, and even improved confidence that comes from knowing you're taking good care of yourself. I'm excited to share these with you because you deserve to feel your best at every age. So, what's one small change you've made recently to improve your comfort or health? I'd love to hear your story. Remember, you deserve to live well and feel great. Let's take this journey together. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. Now, let's begin. 1. Stop wearing synthetic underwear daily. When I first learned about the hidden dangers of synthetic underwear, I'll admit, it was a bit of a shock. For decades, I thought those silky, smooth, seamless panties were the height of comfort and style. They felt light, looked great under my clothes, and honestly, they made me feel a little bit younger and more confident. But as I got older, especially after turning 60, things began to change in ways I didn't expect. What once felt like a treat for my skin turned into a persistent source of irritation and discomfort. It started with small annoyances, a little itch here, some redness there. At first, I brushed it off, blaming the laundry detergent or maybe the dry winter air. But over time, the discomfort grew, becoming something I couldn't ignore. That burning sensation wasn't just in my imagination. It was real, and it was tied to what I was wearing every day: my underwear. I'm sure many of you can relate. We've been sold the idea for years that synthetic fabrics like nylon, polyester, and spandex are the pinnacle of modern underwear. Moisture-wicking, seamless, and stretchy, the perfect blend for comfort, right? Well, not exactly. As our bodies age, especially for women in or past menopause, our skin becomes thinner, more delicate, and less resilient. Our natural hormone levels drop, and with that, the protective bacteria that help keep infections at bay start to decline. What does this mean in real life? It means that trapping heat and moisture against this more sensitive skin isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Synthetic fabrics trap heat and sweat. They don't breathe like natural fibers do, so moisture gets locked in, creating a warm, damp environment, a perfect breeding ground for bacteria and yeast. This can lead to painful infections, irritating rashes, and uncomfortable skin conditions that we don't want to deal with at any age, but especially not after 60 when our bodies are already doing more work to keep us healthy. Switching away from synthetic underwear isn't about giving up on style or comfort. It's quite the opposite. When I made the change to 100% cotton underwear, it felt like giving my skin a deep, refreshing breath of fresh air. Cotton is naturally breathable and soft, helping to wick away moisture rather than trapping it. It lets your skin stay cool and dry throughout the day, reducing the chances of irritation and infection. I remember the first time I put on a pair of soft, breathable cotton briefs after years of synthetic fabrics. It was like night and day. The itching and burning that had been nagging me finally eased up. My skin felt calmer and healthier. And while cotton underwear might not be the fanciest lingerie out there, comfort and health are far sexier than anything else. You can still wear your pretty, silky pairs for special occasions, but for everyday wear, your body will thank you for choosing cotton. I want to be honest. This change can take a little getting used to. Some of those synthetic fabrics feel smoother or more elastic at first, and it's tempting to keep going with what we know. But remember, those synthetic fabrics come with a hidden price. It's not just about comfort, it's about protecting your health, especially when your skin is more fragile and your immune system less forgiving. What helped me make the switch easier was thinking of it as an act of self-care. Choosing cotton underwear became part of a larger commitment to treat my body with kindness and respect. We spend so much of our lives caring for others, our families, friends, and communities, but it's okay, even necessary, to care for ourselves in this way. Our bodies deserve it, especially as we age. I've also learned to read labels carefully. Sometimes underwear is labeled cotton blend, but those blends often include synthetic fibers that can still trap heat and moisture. Look for 100% cotton, or even better, organic cotton, which is softer and less likely to irritate sensitive skin. And if you're shopping online, check customer reviews to see if others mention breathability and comfort. If you've been experiencing unexplained itching, burning, or recurring infections, I encourage you to look at what you're wearing beneath your clothes. It might be time to rethink your underwear drawer. Throw out the synthetic fabrics that have been holding you back from feeling your best. It's a small change that can make a huge difference. I know it's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the health advice that comes our way, especially when it feels like every day there's a new warning or a new product promising miracles. But this one is simple and practical. Cotton underwear doesn't cost much more than synthetic options, and it's widely available. The benefit: better comfort, fewer infections, and a happier, healthier you. Let me share a little secret. Once you experience how much better your skin feels in cotton, you'll wonder why you didn't switch sooner. It's like giving your most sensitive parts a chance to heal and thrive. And that's something every woman over 60 deserves. Taking this step isn't about sacrificing style or giving up on feeling beautiful. It's about listening to your body, honoring its needs, and making choices that support your health in the long run. You might even find that with less irritation and discomfort, your confidence grows. When you feel good, it shows. So, if you haven't already, I invite you to take a peek inside your underwear drawer. Are you wearing synthetic fabrics every day? If so, consider this a gentle nudge to try something different. Start with a couple of pairs of 100% cotton underwear and notice how your body responds. Pay attention to the comfort, the way your skin breathes, and how you feel throughout the day. Remember, aging gracefully isn't just about what you put on your face or how you dress on the outside. It's about caring for every part of yourself, especially the parts that don't always get talked about. Choosing cotton underwear daily might seem like a small detail, but it can make a world of difference in your comfort and health. You're not alone in this journey, and it's never too late to start making choices that help you feel your best. Your body is your home, and it deserves to be treated with the gentleness and respect that cotton underwear can provide. I promise, once you make the switch, you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner. It's one of those simple, wise choices that pays off every single day, helping you stay comfortable, healthy, and confident as you enjoy the years ahead. 2. Throw out your old underwear. It might sound harsh at first, but throwing out your old underwear is one of the smartest things you can do for your health, especially after 60. I know how sentimental we can get about those favorite pairs, the ones that feel like a second skin, perfectly broken in over the years. I had my own Saturday pair, soft and faded, with just the right fit that made me feel comfortable and at home. Tossing them out felt almost like saying goodbye to a part of my daily routine, a small comfort I wasn't ready to give up. But what I learned was eye-opening, and honestly, a little unsettling. Underwear, unlike other clothing, endures a unique kind of wear and tear. Each wash, dry, and wear cycle breaks down the fabric fibers more than you realize. Even if your old favorites look okay at first glance, microscopic holes develop, seams stretch, and fibers weaken. Over time, these worn-down fibers trap bacteria and germs that no amount of detergent or hot water can fully remove. And when you're over 60, Your skin is more sensitive, and your immune system isn't as robust as it once was, making you more vulnerable to infections and irritation caused by these invisible invaders. It's kind of like holding onto an old toothbrush past its prime. No one would recommend that, right? Yet, many of us don't think twice about hanging onto underwear that has been in the drawer for years. Doctors recommend rotating your underwear every 6 to 12 months, but I found a little trick that makes it easier. Replace a few pairs at a time every couple of months instead of all at once. This way, you can stay ahead of the wear and tear without breaking the bank or feeling wasteful. I know it's hard to part with underwear that feels familiar and comfortable, but consider this. A fresh, new pair means cleaner fabric, stronger elastic, and less chance of irritation or infection. It feels good to give yourself that little upgrade. And honestly, taking care of yourself this way is a small act of kindness that sends a powerful message. You deserve to feel fresh, healthy, and comfortable every single day. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. There's also a practical side to it. Old, stretched-out underwear can lose its fit and support, causing discomfort or even skin chafing. When the elastic weakens, your underwear might not hold moisture away as well, leaving you more susceptible to irritation, especially if you experience any incontinence or discharge. Upgrading to new underwear restores the essential support and breathability your body needs. If you're worried about the environmental impact of tossing clothing, I encourage you to donate or recycle what you can. Some organizations accept gently used underwear for those in need, or you can explore textile recycling programs. Taking care of your health doesn't have to come at the cost of the planet. One unexpected benefit I found after regularly updating my underwear drawer was a renewed sense of confidence and comfort. Putting on a fresh pair that fits just right and feels soft against your skin can brighten your mood in ways you wouldn't expect. It's like permitting yourself to start each day fresh, clean, cared for, and ready. So, take a moment today to look through your underwear drawer with kindness but honesty. Are there pairs you've held onto for too long? If so, it might be time to let them go. Trust me, your body will thank you for it. Remember, this isn't about vanity. It's about respect for yourself and your health. Fresh underwear isn't just about how you look. It's about how you feel, how you protect your body, and how you honor the years you've lived. Treat yourself to that small but powerful upgrade. You deserve it. 3. Avoid tight underwear. If you're anything like me, you probably spent most of your life believing that a snug fit was a sign of good underwear. For years, I squeezed into tight panties, thinking they'd offer better support, smooth out the lines under my clothes, or simply make me feel a bit more put together. Old habits die hard. We tend to hold on to the idea that we should still fit into the same sizes we wore in our 20s or 30s, almost as if our bodies owe it to us to stay the same. But here's the truth no one tells you. Your body is changing, and that's not just okay, it's normal, and even something to be proud of. When you cross into your 60s and beyond, your skin becomes thinner and more fragile, your curves shift, and your muscles might soften. Tissues that once felt firm now need a little more kindness, not pressure. And yet, so many of us still cling to underwear that digs in, pinches, or leaves red marks at the end of the day. I was guilty of it too, until the discomfort became too much to ignore. At first, it was a little chafing on the thighs or waistband. But then, I started noticing numbness in my upper legs and a tingling that wouldn't go away. It turns out, I wasn't alone. Doctors have a name for this: neuralgia paresthetica. It's a fancy way of saying the nerves near your hip and thigh are being compressed by tight clothing, especially tight underwear. It doesn't sound pleasant because it isn't. While you might not get full-blown nerve pain, tight underwear causes a whole range of problems. Friction, chafing, rashes, circulation issues, and sometimes even painful indentations in your skin that can last for hours. The moment I sized up, just one size, was the moment my comfort came back. It was like a sigh of relief for my whole body. I realized I didn't have to fit in to an old standard anymore. It wasn't about giving up or letting myself go. It was about listening to my body and respecting what it needed now. I found high-rise, wider waistband styles that hugged my body gently, not squeezing it. Breathable cotton, soft seams, and enough give to slide a finger under every band. Suddenly, I wasn't fidgeting or constantly adjusting myself all day. There's a strange sort of freedom that comes with embracing this change. Instead of fighting against the inevitable shifts of age, I leaned in. I learned that comfort is not a luxury reserved for the young. At this stage in life, comfort is healthcare. When your underwear isn't squeezing or rubbing, you move more easily, you sleep better, and your skin thanks you for it. Even things like incontinence pads or liners fit better and do their job more effectively with properly fitting underwear. I know it can be hard to let go of the numbers and sizes we used to be. Our culture is obsessed with youth and slimness, and it's easy to feel like sizing up is somehow a failure. But let me assure you, the only failure is ignoring what your body truly needs. Gaining a few pounds, changing shape, this is simply life unfolding. Your worth and beauty aren't measured by a number on a tag. If you're unsure whether your underwear is too tight, here's a simple test. You should be able to slip a finger easily under every waistband and leg opening. If you can't, it's time to go up a size or try a new style. Don't settle for discomfort, hoping it will get better or you'll get used to it. You shouldn't have to break in underwear like a pair of stiff shoes. The right fit will feel good from the start. And don't be afraid to try something new. There are so many beautiful, comfortable styles out there now. High-rise briefs, boy shorts, soft cotton bikinis that are designed to support you without squeezing the life out of your skin. It's about embracing the body you have today and giving it what it deserves. So, if you've been holding on to underwear that's too tight, treating each red mark like a badge of honor, maybe today is the day you permit yourself to choose comfort. Let go of the old stories about size and shape. Slip into something that lets you breathe, move, and simply be at ease in your skin. Your body is your lifelong companion. Show it a little more love, one gentle, well-fitting pair of underwear at a time. 4. Don't sleep in underwear every night. There's a special kind of comfort that comes from slipping under the covers at the end of a long day, especially after the age of 65. The world grows quiet, aches settle, and your bedroom becomes a sanctuary where you can finally let your guard down. For decades, I kept the same nighttime routine, brushing my teeth, changing into pajamas, and, without thinking twice, putting on a fresh pair of underwear before bed. It felt natural. It felt clean. It was simply what I'd always done. If you're anything like me, wearing underwear to sleep seemed not only normal but almost required. Maybe your mother taught you the same thing. I can still remember her folding laundry and reminding me, always wear something underneath, even at night, just in case. For years, I believed it was the responsible thing to do, a matter of good hygiene and decency. Besides, didn't it feel a little too exposed to go without? Even after my children had grown and left home, even after my husband's snoring was the only sound in the room, I kept up the habit, night after night. But with age comes change, and sometimes wisdom arrives in the form of an unexpected itch. It started out as a small irritation, nothing serious. Maybe just dry skin or the detergent, I told myself. But the discomfort kept returning. Some nights I'd find myself tossing and turning, scratching at a spot that refused to be soothed. Other nights, I'd wake up feeling a little damp and a bit uncomfortable, but too tired to do anything about it. I never once thought my nightly underwear could be the culprit. One afternoon, while chatting over tea, my friend Linda confessed she'd started sleeping without underwear and felt like a new woman. I was shocked. No underwear? Doesn't that feel odd? I asked, surprised by my reaction. She just smiled and said, honestly, it's the best change I've made in years. You have to let your skin breathe. It sounded so simple, almost too simple. But her words stuck with me. That night, I hesitated for a moment as I changed for bed. What if she was right? I slipped on a pair of loose, cotton pajama bottoms and, for the first time in decades, went to bed without underwear. At first, I felt a little exposed, maybe even a tad rebellious for a woman of my age. But as I pulled up the covers, a strange sense of relief washed over me. Nothing was digging in, no elastic band pressing on my skin, no fabric holding in warmth. I felt lighter, freer, almost like I'd let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. I slept better that night than I had in months. It wasn't until my next checkup that I realized there was real science behind Linda's advice. My doctor, who always seems to know what I'm thinking before I do, asked about my sleep and any skin irritation. When I mentioned I'd started skipping underwear at night, she smiled approvingly. That's one of the best things you can do for your intimate health, especially at your age, she told me. She explained how, as we grow older, the skin around our intimate areas becomes thinner, less resilient, and more prone to irritation. Wearing underwear to bed, especially if it's tight or synthetic, holds in moisture and warmth, turning our most delicate skin into a breeding ground for bacteria and yeast. Over time, this can lead to itching, rashes, and even infections. She went on to say that during sleep, our bodies need a chance to ventilate and recover. Just as we air out our bedrooms or hang our clothes in the sun, our skin needs a nightly breather too. By removing that extra layer, especially if you're prone to light incontinence or discharge, you're allowing your body to restore its natural balance. If the idea of sleeping without underwear still feels a little too daring, that's okay. You don't have to go to bed completely bare if it doesn't feel right. A pair of loose, breathable cotton pajama bottoms or a soft nightgown offers just enough coverage while still letting your skin breathe. The key is to remove that snug, closed-in layer, even for a few nights a week, and see how your body responds. After a week or two, I noticed a real difference. The itching faded. My skin felt calmer and less irritated. I stopped waking up with that uncomfortable dampness. Even my mood improved. It's amazing how much better you feel when you're not distracted by little discomforts. I shared my new routine with my book club, and soon, several friends were trying it too. It became a quiet topic of conversation. Who knew sleeping without underwear could be so liberating? There's a kind of empowerment in making small changes that care for your body, especially after a lifetime of routines and habits. It's a gentle reminder that we can still learn, adapt, and discover new ways to be comfortable in our skin. We don't have to stick to old rules just because that's how it's always been done. Sometimes, the most nurturing thing we can do for ourselves is to let go of unnecessary layers, both physically and emotionally. So tonight, as you prepare for bed, I invite you to try it, just once. Fold your underwear neatly in the drawer, slip into your softest pajamas, and let your skin enjoy the freedom it deserves. It might feel different at first, but give yourself a chance to adjust. You may just find, as I did, that you sleep better, wake up more refreshed, and discover a new kind of comfort you didn't even know you were missing. At this age, we've earned the right to do what feels best for us. Let's make every night a little gentler and every morning a little brighter. One small change at a time. 5. Stop using scented or harsh detergents on your underwear. I always loved the smell of clean laundry. There's something comforting about pulling a freshly washed shirt from the dryer and catching that whiff of spring breeze or lavender fields, even if it's a little artificial. For most of my life, I thought that the more a detergent promised freshness, the better it was. When the kids were small, I'd buy whatever was on sale, never thinking twice about the long list of ingredients on the label. As I got older and life grew quieter, those little pleasures, like the smell of clean sheets or the familiar feel of freshly folded underwear, became one of my favorite simple joys. But sometimes, the things that bring us comfort can quietly become the things that hold us back. I never considered the possibility that the sweet-smelling detergent I loved could be the source of a whole lot of irritation. In my late 60s, I started noticing that my skin felt itchy, especially down there, even on days when I hadn't done anything out of the ordinary. I'd swap out brands, thinking it was the fabric of my underwear or maybe just the dry air in winter. Some days I'd use extra lotion or even try an over-the-counter cream. It helped a little, but the problem kept coming back. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Then came the day when my granddaughter, Olivia, spent the weekend. She helped me with the laundry, carefully matching socks and folding towels. As she tossed my underwear into the basket, she wrinkled her nose and asked, "Grandma, why does your laundry smell so strong?" I laughed at first, saying that was just the scent of clean. But later that night, I thought about her words. When did clean become about perfume instead of actual cleanliness? I realized I'd fallen for the idea that stronger scents meant better results, even if my body didn't always agree. The turning point came at my next checkup. I finally mentioned the itching to my doctor, half expecting her to blame it on hormones or aging skin. To my surprise, she asked, "What kind of detergent are you using?" When I described my beloved Ocean Breeze formula, she shook her head with a knowing smile. Many scented detergents and fabric softeners leave behind residues. Perfumes, dyes, brighteners, even softening agents that stick to the fibers. That residue rubs against your skin, especially the sensitive parts, all day long. For women in their 60s and beyond, whose skin is thinner and more delicate, this can cause persistent irritation and even lead to infections. I'll admit, I felt a little silly. I'd spent years trying to make my home and my clothes as fresh and pleasant as possible, never realizing that those extra chemicals were doing more harm than good. The truth is, most commercial detergents are packed with ingredients we don't need, especially not in the things that touch our most sensitive areas. Perfumes might smell lovely, but they don't make underwear any cleaner. They can trap bacteria, mask real cleanliness issues, and lead to a cycle of irritation that gets worse over time. With that in mind, I went home and made a small but important change. I switched to a fragrance-free, hypoallergenic detergent for all my underwear and anything else that touched my skin directly. No more floral or citrus scents, just a clean, gentle wash. I also started running an extra rinse cycle, especially for my underwear, to be sure no soap or softener clung to the fabric. It felt odd at first. My laundry basket didn't have that strong perfumed smell I'd grown so used to, and I worried my clothes might seem dull or less inviting. But what a difference it made! Within a week, I noticed my skin felt calmer. The persistent itch faded, and I no longer had that strange, almost burning sensation after a long day. Even better, my underwear felt softer, not stiff from chemicals or heavy with artificial fragrance. I started to realize that clean isn't something you smell, it's something you feel. Clean should be gentle, soothing, and invisible. I told my friends at Bingo about my new, plain detergent. At first, there were some giggles and jokes about missing out on that laundry commercial aroma. But several of them admitted to having the same complaints: mysterious irritation, redness, even little rashes that just wouldn't quit. A few tried my method, switching to unscented formulas and adding that extra rinse. Within days, they had the same results: softer skin, less discomfort, and a lot less worrying about what might be lurking in their drawers. Another surprise? My underwear seemed to last longer, too. Without the buildup of fabric softener or harsh chemicals, the fibers stayed stronger, the elastic didn't break down as fast, and colors looked brighter over time. Plus, I didn't have to worry about covering up old odors with more perfume. The real problem was gone. Sometimes, it's the smallest changes that bring the biggest relief. Letting go of strong scents and unnecessary chemicals was a quiet act of self-care, a way of telling my body, "I hear you, and I want you to feel good." As women, we're so used to putting everyone else's needs first, but something as simple as changing our laundry routine can be a gentle, daily reminder to look after ourselves. So, if you're still reaching for that bottle of fresh linen detergent, I encourage you to give your skin a break. Choose something plain, gentle, and kind. Run an extra rinse. You'll be amazed at how much more comfortable your days become, and how much your body will thank you. Clean doesn't have to shout. Sometimes, the quietest choices are the healthiest ones of all. 6. Stop using panty liners every day. If you peeked inside my underwear drawer a few years ago, you'd have seen a neat little row of panty liners, stacked next to my cotton briefs, always ready, always within reach. It was a habit I picked up somewhere in my late 40s, long before I gave much thought to what my body might need as I grew older. I remember when panty liners first showed up in the store aisles, tiny, thin, and promising to keep you fresh and secure all day. The ads were everywhere. Happy, active women waltzing through life with the confidence of a tightrope walker. Who wouldn't want that? Especially as the decades go by and bodies start doing unexpected things. A little more discharge here, the occasional leak after a sneeze or a hearty laugh. It felt like such an easy solution, almost invisible. Just stick one on in the morning and go about your day. Maybe you recognize yourself in that story. Maybe you, like me, got used to that soft crinkle as you walked, or the gentle sense of padding that felt like a little insurance policy against embarrassment. It made sense for a while, until it didn't. The first sign that something was wrong was so subtle I nearly missed it. A little irritation, then a spot of redness. Sometimes, by evening, I'd be a bit itchy. I changed laundry detergents, switched underwear brands, and tried different creams. For a while, I even blamed the weather, certain it was the cold, dry air of winter or the heat of summer. But the discomfort kept returning. It wasn't until a gentle, matter-of-fact conversation with my doctor that I realized the culprit might be the very thing I trusted most. She asked me about my daily routines, and when I mentioned panty liners, her eyebrows shot up. "Every day?" she asked, surprise coloring her voice. "Even if you don't need them?" I shrugged. "It was just what I did," she explained, with the kind of kindness only a good doctor can muster, that panty liners, even the thin, unscented ones, create a warm, moist environment against the skin. It's the perfect setting for bacteria and yeast to flourish, especially for women whose bodies are changing with age. The vaginal tissue becomes thinner and less acidic, our natural defenses wane, and anything that traps moisture can quickly lead to irritation, rashes, or even infections. I'll admit, I resisted at first. It felt almost unsafe to go without that extra layer, as if I'd be inviting embarrassment. What if I needed it? But as I started to pay attention, I realized how often I wore a liner just in case. Not because I needed one, but out of habit and a vague sense of security. On days when I skipped them, my skin felt calmer by evening. The redness faded. I stopped feeling that odd, sticky discomfort that had started to creep into my afternoons. If you're nodding along, wondering whether you could give up daily panty liners, let me reassure you, it isn't nearly as daunting as it seems. I started slow. At first, I wore them only when I truly needed them, if I had a doctor's appointment, a particularly busy day, or knew I'd be out for hours. On quieter days at home, I skipped them. I also switched to cotton-based, unscented options and made a point to change them every few hours if I did use one. And guess what? I realized my body didn't need constant protection. What it needed was a little more air, a little more freedom to breathe, just like the rest of me. The benefits crept in quietly, but unmistakably. No more strange rashes. The itch disappeared. I felt fresher by evening and more comfortable as I moved through my day. My confidence didn't suffer. In fact, it grew. I felt like I was finally listening to what my body was telling me, not what an ad on TV thought I should do. I shared my discovery with a few friends at our weekly coffee group. To my surprise, most of them confessed to using panty liners every single day for years, just like I had. There was a ripple of nervous laughter and a bit of hesitation, old habits die hard, especially ones wrapped in a sense of cleanliness and preparedness. But gradually, several of us made the switch. Now, we joke that our panty liner club has turned into a less is more society. If you find it hard to let go of daily liners, remember this: your body changes with age, but that doesn't mean it needs constant protection or padding. Trust in simple cotton underwear. Give yourself breaks. If you must use a liner, pick unscented, breathable ones, and don't leave them on for more than a few hours. Most importantly, be gentle with yourself as you transition away from old routines. Change takes time, especially when it comes to habits tied to our sense of comfort and confidence. In the end, the greatest lesson I learned wasn't just about panty liners. It was about listening to my body's quiet requests. It was about letting go of old habits that no longer served me and discovering that sometimes less really is more. You deserve to feel fresh and comfortable, not just because of a product you buy, but because you're honoring the needs of the amazing body that's carried you through all these years. So open that underwear drawer and permit yourself to skip the liner. Trust yourself. Trust your body. And enjoy the freedom that comes with a little more ease, a little more breath, and a lot more comfort every single day. 7. Stop ignoring your underwear's impact on incontinence. If you're anything like me, talking openly about incontinence isn't something that comes easy. We grew up in a time when subjects like this were either whispered about behind closed doors or brushed off with a joke. That's just part of getting older, someone would say, and we'd nod, laugh a little, and do our best to carry on as if nothing had changed. But the truth is, even a small leak now and then, after a sneeze, a hearty laugh, or just moving a bit too quickly, can have a bigger impact on our comfort and confidence than we care to admit. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. I remember the first time I realized my regular underwear just wasn't cutting it anymore. It was a bright Saturday morning at the farmer's market. My arms were loaded with peaches, and I laughed a little too hard at a story my friend Joan was telling. That's when it happened. A tiny leak, just enough to make me uncomfortable. I tried to ignore it and keep walking, but there was no denying the dampness, the worry about odor, and the sudden urge to head home early. It wasn't the end of the world, but it left me feeling self-conscious for the rest of the day. I started layering up, thicker underwear, a panty liner, sometimes even doubling up just to feel a little more secure. But it never really solved the problem. It just made me more aware of it. What no one tells you is that regular underwear isn't designed for the special needs of women experiencing even mild incontinence. Too tight, and you end up with chafing, red marks, or even painful rashes. Too loose, and moisture stays trapped, leading to irritation and, sometimes, infections. It's a balancing act and one that left me frustrated and tired of worrying about something I felt I should have outgrown. My wake-up call came after a visit to my doctor. I'd started to notice more frequent irritation, redness, itching, and sometimes even little sores that seemed to take forever to heal. When I finally brought it up, with a lot of hesitation, my doctor looked at me with genuine understanding. She told me something that changed my entire approach. You're not alone, and you don't have to keep struggling in silence. There are better options designed for exactly what you're dealing with. She introduced me to the world of specialized incontinence underwear. To be honest, I resisted at first. In my mind, incontinence underwear meant bulky, noisy, and unattractive products that would make me feel even older. I was worried about comfort, about whether people would notice, about losing a bit of my dignity. But she encouraged me to just try a few modern brands. She explained that the technology had come a long way. There are now sleek, soft, and surprisingly stylish options that look and feel like regular briefs, but with discreet absorbency, moisture-wicking fabric, and odor control. That week, I ordered a couple of pairs online, telling myself I'd just wear them at home. When they arrived, I was surprised. They didn't look or feel like the incontinence products I'd imagined. They were soft, stretchy, and fit comfortably. No more elastic cutting into my skin, no bulky padding. The first time I wore them out for errands, I felt an unexpected sense of relief. No more worry about a sudden leak, no more racing to the bathroom, no more layering up and hoping for the best. It's amazing how much one small change can impact your life. With the right underwear, my skin stayed dry, and I felt fresher throughout the day. There was less irritation, fewer little accidents turning into bigger problems, and best of all, my confidence returned. I was able to join my friends for long walks, enjoy a good belly laugh, and even go to the movies without that nagging sense of anxiety. Instead of focusing on what might go wrong, I could finally focus on enjoying the moment. Of course, making the switch took a little getting used to. I had to remind myself that needing help wasn't a sign of weakness, it was a sign of wisdom. I was taking care of my body, being proactive, and showing myself the same kindness I'd offer a friend. As I shared my experience with other women in my church group and book club, I realized just how many of us were quietly struggling with the same worries. There was such a sense of relief in being honest, sharing solutions, and letting go of the shame that so often surrounds the subject. So if you're managing incontinence by simply doubling up your underwear or relying on panty liners meant for something else, let me gently encourage you. You deserve better. Explore the new generation of incontinence underwear made for women like us. Look for breathable, moisture-wicking materials, a comfortable fit that doesn't pinch or sag, and styles that make you feel like yourself, not someone to be pitted or hidden away. Changing your underwear might seem like a small thing, but the impact on your skin, your health, and your daily happiness can be enormous. Our bodies may be changing, but our right to comfort, dignity, and confidence never fades. We've spent a lifetime adapting, learning, and caring for others. Now, it's time to care for ourselves, openly, bravely, and with the wisdom that comes from experience. Let's leave the shame and old routines behind. By choosing the right underwear for where we are now, we can step into each day with a little more ease, a little more freedom, and a lot more self-respect. That, after all these years, is a gift we truly deserve. As I look back on all the little changes I've made over the years, some big, some barely noticeable, I realize how much they've added up to a life that simply feels better. Taking care of ourselves isn't always about grand gestures or big sacrifices. Sometimes, it's as simple as rethinking the fabric we put closest to our skin, letting go of habits that once felt comforting but now quietly hold us back, or choosing something new even when it feels a bit unfamiliar. These choices are small gifts we give ourselves, day by day. Maybe as you listen today, you recognized a habit or two that's been with you for far too long. Maybe you felt a flicker of encouragement, or maybe even a bit of doubt, wondering if change is still worth it at this stage. Let me reassure you, it is. Every step we take toward comfort and confidence is worth celebrating. We've spent so many years taking care of others, working hard, building families, and being there for friends. Now, we deserve to do the same for ourselves. So, as you open your underwear drawer tomorrow, I hope you do so with a little more kindness and curiosity. Which small change will you try first? I'd love to hear what resonated with you, or what you plan to do differently. Leave a comment and share your story. Your experience might just inspire someone else. And remember, you deserve to live each day with comfort, dignity, and joy. Let's keep taking care of ourselves, together.